Welcome, collectors and diecast enthusiasts. Thank you for joining me for an all-new edition of Diecast Emporium. In today's review, we're going to be reviewing the NZG 150th scale Caterpillar 528B Cable Skidder. Now, the boxes that they used for a lot of these NZG models really didn't change over time, especially when we're talking about the different generations of the machines. So, for example, the Cat 528 box is the same box that it would be for the Cat 528B in this case. I did purchase this new from Buffalo Road Imports recently on their website. Okay, taking a look at the package, as I just mentioned and cleared up for any of us that may be slightly confused, this is the correct packaging that most of the Cat 528Bs were released in. You can see that it says Cat 528 Log Skidder, has an outline drawing of the Cable Skidder. Same thing over here, 1 to 50 scale Cat. On the bottom of the box, we can see the Cat officially licensed product. NZG article number 220 for this one, although I bet there's going to be a 220-1 or something along those lines on the actual model itself, denoting that this is the B or Bravo model. Okay, let's get this thing unboxed and take a closer look at it. Surprisingly, as far as 150th scale Caterpillar skidder models go, there really is only a handful out there, especially that have been released over the years. If you take the Joel one out, because it's not really 150th scale, the ones that immediately come to mind are the two Norscot 545s, the Tonkin 555, the Diecast Masters 555, which is essentially the same thing, and really this one. And that's about it for your Cat skidder lineup. So, here's our first look at the Cable Skidder. As you can see, there is nothing else in the box except a couple pieces of packaging material and, thankfully, our NZG model tag. Okay, with the model out of the box, we can begin the review. And as we always do, let's go over the details and decals, and then we will move into functionality. This is a very basic model, and thus the tooling has very basic functionality and detailing. You can see that you have the red line of 528B decaling here. If we drop our blade down just a little bit so that we can see our Cat decal, you can see that there is one here. On the back of the machine, nothing in terms of decaling. On this side, again, the same thing with Cat and 528B. On the front of the machine, you have Caterpillar spelled out right above the engine guard. Now, underneath the machine, we can see the NZG model logo here. Now, this is where things get a little bit interesting, especially for those that like to collect everything and keep up to track, keep up to date with things. We can see 1 to 50 scale, made in West Germany, number 220. The original date for the original tooling, which my assumption would be the 528A or just the standard 528 model, 1981. This version, the 528B, was revised and released in 1994. That's information for you for all those that like to indulge in that sort of detail. All right, we do have some protection around the cab. Again, that is all done with the die-cast tooling. Inside the cab, there is a steering wheel and an operator seat, but effectively that is all. You also have an air cleaner and an exhaust. Again, the ROPS protection or the rollover protection structure, again, all metal. It is part of the tooling. In fact, on this, there's very little that isn't die-cast. I would say the wheels, which are plastic, the tires, which are rubber, and then the cylinders, which are used for the blade. At least the cylinder jackets, they are that same style of off-color plastic yellow that NZG liked to use frequently. That's the details, that's the decals. Let's focus now on functionality. Okay, for functionality, again, you need to bear in mind that this machine was produced the original tooling in the 1980s and then revised in the early 1990s, so it is not going to have the bells and whistles of today's models. That said, this is pretty functional for a rudimentary skidder model. Up to and including, it articulates across the articulation joint very well to a very good angle. It will roll freely on its rubber wheels, and you get a great range of oscillation across the rear axle as seen across the pivot point here. There is no function in terms of the mechanism for the actual skidder, the actual cable mechanism for it to come down or raise. And obviously there's nothing included with the set that you could use as cabling. But obviously if you really wanted to, you can either use some very thin rope, or if you wanted to use some chain from an old necklace, for example, if you can steal one away from your girlfriend or wife, you can perhaps use that to mimic the chains or the cable used on a cable skidder. The other bit of functionality is the blade functionality. It will raise up to a very respectable height, seen here, and it will drop down to an appropriate depth well beneath the machine, seen here. It is enough to hold the front wheels off the ground, just about, seen there. As you can see, the front wheel not moving completely freely. And that's it for your decal and details and functionality on this skidder. As I said in the beginning of the video, it's going to be pretty simplistic, pretty short video by my standards anyway. But what I have to say about this piece is that it's very well done. I'm very pleased that I've added it to my collection. Initially, I pursued getting a 528 original or 528A model, whichever way you want to refer to them as. But when I saw this for a reasonable price, I decided to pick this one up instead, and I'm very pleased that I did. The functionality is very good. The detailing is on the average par for what you'd expect from an NZG piece from the era. And overall, it looks good next to my other cat skidders in my collection. As always, I'm Tommy with Diecast Emporium. Thank you all so very much for watching. Please be sure to like this video and share it with your friends. And if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to us here on Diecast Emporium so you never miss a single upload. Until next time, take care, be safe, be well. I'll see you in the next review.